Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson comes out with their response to the SEC. Today we have a lot to talk about, but first, I was literally about to faint, guys, because someone from the Fed, David Andolfado from the United States Federal Reserve, stated, quote, the Fed could delegate settlement to a third party like Ripple, end quote. Wait a minute. So this person is supposedly from the Fed, guys, right? So basically a Fed official talks about Ripple in this video clip. Wait a minute, what? This the guys, I'm telling you. We are going to be on the right side of law and history.
Fed is, people say, how can you trust the Fed to do the bookkeeping? I mean, like I said, my response is, you don't expect the Fed to kind of steal your money. I mean, if the Fed can print all the money at once, it's not going to mess around with your bookkeeping. So we have this big spreadsheet, the blockchain if you want, but it's just managed by the Fed, and it's very cheap, much cheaper than Bitcoin, if you're willing to delegate the responsibility to a third party. But then the downsides to all of that, of course, is you'd actually suppose you didn't want the Fed to be responsible for processing the payments. I mean, suppose, the Fed will likely impose some KYC restrictions on some purchases. They might not process some purchases that you might want to undertake. And so it was at that point that I said, well, we could, if we wanted to, extend the concept one step further. I'm not saying that this is ever going to happen, but just conceptually, you could imagine, and not Fed wired for all, but kind of with a Fed coin, where what the Fed would do is actually just issue these, Bitcoin-like objects. But and they would enforce a par exchange rate with the U.S. dollar. That would eliminate the exchange rate volatility. But they could delegate the clearing of these payments to some third party, some sort of Ripple-like protocol, or possibly even Bitcoin. I mean, we could delegate the responsibility of processing these electronic, Fedcoin payments to the miners. And the idea there would be,
Bitcoin did not make me laugh, and he talked about miners. Come on, guys, that's literally laughable. But then he stated the first thing he stated was Ripple-like protocol, right? Again, guys, all the proof is in the damn pudding, right? We are literally heading towards a new world. Don't you guys see what's really happening in front of your damn face? This is from an official Fed, guys, right? From the Fed. Now,
of course, the whole payment system is perfect. And then what I can see coexisting alongside this institution is something like a Ripple platform, that currency-agnostic peer-to-peer payment system I just described that facilitates low-cost payments.
So on this slide here, we wanted to articulate exactly where Ripple fits in to the broader payment ecosystem. So we are not at the top. We're not an application. We're not, say, a Stripe or a Square or a PayPal. We are not a bank. Banks can continue to. Banks will.
Exactly, they're not at the top of the pyramid, but they're at the bottom. As the rails, as the literal infrastructure, guys, right? Don't you guys see? All the proof is in the damn pudding.
At a higher level in the payment stack. Central banks and governing bodies and membership organizations like NACHA set rules and provide guidance and guidelines for payment standards, settlement standards, and governance and oversight. And then payment messaging networks like ACH and SWIFT relay those payment instructions and settle them for later settlement, which is ultimately provided and facilitated by a settlement switch. In the U.S., that's generally the Federal Reserve System.
Although, of course, no payment system is perfect. And then what I can see coexisting alongside this institution is something like a Ripple platform, that currency-agnostic peer-to-peer payment system.
So,
currency agnostic is very important, which we'll talk about in just a second.
This slide is not designed to show that Ripple is replacing anybody or disrupting payments, but really is facilitating and enabling payments. We see a great coexistence between Ripple as a payments protocol, which can provide for the real-time transfer of funds between two counterparties without relying on a third party for intervention and arbitration of the transaction, while coexisting with all of the rules that are in place today for settlement.
Basically improving the current financial system, guys. All the proof is in the damn pudding. Don't you guys see? Right? Now, how domestic payments will use XRP. All banks will have their own tokenized dollar. The Fed coin, JP Morgan coin, Bank of America coin. None of them will hold each other. No, none of them will hold each other's coins. Each other's coin. A third-party service provider will swap between them by sourcing a liquidity pool. Coin A to XRP and then to coin C. A to B, then C. Now, a few people are talking about they're going to be using a different coin, guys. But again, remember what Mr. Poole did say, right? That what's it called? There's going to be multiple digital assets, not just XRP, but multiple cryptocurrencies integrated into the new financial system. Okay? That's from the Riddler's point of view, not mine. I just realized this example is for domestic payments, right? I'm not quite sure about that, but for international settlements, right, or transfers, we know the bridge. Now, it's funny that when we talk about XRP being the bridge, right, and currency agnostic and these stuff like that, remember, currency agnostic will tie into BRICS, right, the world central bankers. There's a lot of hostility between these other countries. This is why war was created in the first place, to further push the collapse and then bring upon the new financial system, guys, right? There needs to be something neutral. Again, guys, very weird if you ask me, because Ripple comes out a few days ago or yesterday, speed, savings, liquidity. Discover how our payment solution can minimize cross-border treasury management challenges for corporate enterprises, enable just-in-time treasury operations, and more, okay? But this is where it gets really fascinating. Check this out. When you type in bridge, right, on-demand liquidity also offers superior liquidity for cross-border payments, including complex corridors, by virtue of its strong global payments network and the ability to use XRP as a neutral bridge. That's all. It's right here, guys, for various fiat currency pairs. Interesting. Neutral bridge, currency agnostic from the Fed. Back here. Now, let's transition into talking about the Ripple case, right? That's still ongoing, guys. With Brad and Chris Larson, we see right here, ultimately corporate treasury teams can leverage crypto solutions for business like on-demand liquidity to improve cash flow planning, enhance commercial terms, and help suppliers factor their receivables. Okay, so institutions who use on-demand liquidity and acquire XRP to use as a bridge currency may do so for these commercial reasons, not for investments with an expectation of profits from XRP price appreciation. How can Ripple not appeal defining XRP sales to on-demand liquidity users or investment contracts? Check this out now, okay? Breaking. Ripple files its opposition to the SEC's anticipated motion for relief to file an interlocutory appeal, guys. There we go. So it seems as we oppose SEC's request for an appeal. There is no extraordinary circumstance here that will justify departing from the rule requiring all issues as to all parties to be resolved before an appeal. Okay, but what does this mean? In long answer short, they are basically asking the court to obviously reject it because the SEC has been going on a crusade. So they should wait until the judgment of the trial to file a motion to appeal. There you guys go, right? So Ripple is asking the court to reject the appeal from the SEC, basically, right? Reminder from Brian Garlinghouse: the request for appeal, even if granted, doesn't change the fact that XRP is not a security. There you guys go, right here, guys. Doesn't change the fact that XRP is not a security, okay? That's not up for debate / trial. The SEC continues to claim that Chris and I acted recklessly in believing that XRP is not a security. That's utter nonsense. The judge's July 13th ruling said that the SEC would be put to their proofs at trial regarding their claim against Chris and me. We look forward to proving the SEC wrong as a matter of fact and law again. Wow, guys, right? So the Bitcoin maximalists have been twisting the facts and calling XRP or how the SEC is going after the appeal because XRP is not a security and they're trying to appeal that, but they can't, guys. That's the thing, right? It's set in stone that XRP is not a security. Ripple makes solid arguments why the appeal shouldn't be allowed, but if it is allowed, Ripple is going to get its contractual obligations arguments in front of the second DCA, and that will be something. I'm talking amicus briefs raining from the heavens. Wow. Absolutely crazy, guys, right? Look at this, guys. Why can't the SEC just accept they lost and that XRP is not a security? Attorney Jeremy replies, they accepted XRP is not a security, or at least they aren't trying to appeal that, even if they hate it, guys. There you go, right? And that's the most important thing out of the ruling that came out just recently, right? Over a month ago. From Judge Torres, not financial advice. There we go. Excellent response from Johnny Deaton. The even stronger arguments will be coming next from Brad and Chris, attorneys related to the SEC's request for a stay. If it wasn't for the Rakoff ruling, I would lean toward Judge Torres denying the SEC's request to file a motion for interlocutory appeal. The SEC doesn't come close to meeting the standard justifying an early appeal, but with the Rakoff ruling out there, her allowing the SEC to write a formal motion will give her an opportunity to further demonstrate why her decision is sound and based on evidence, thus making her decision even more appeal proof. So what is Judge Torres going to do here, guys, right? That's the thing. The decision to sue Brad and Chris was for the wrong reasons, and that's dumb. And that dumb decision is costing the SEC. In short, the SEC won on the law and lost on the facts. They shouldn't be allowed to appeal the law they won on, so it can be adjusted to the facts they lost on. That will raise new legal issues, lead to further appeal points, and complicate everything. They should just wait until it's over and everyone can appeal whatever, guys, right? Wow. Supposedly the SEC is panicking, guys, and then Charles comes out. Judge Torres was a joke and not the big win many retail investors believe, right? He's still hating on Ripple and XRP. I have no idea where XRP will end up. I do know based on my reporting that the court rulings are mixed, so buyers beware. My reporting always stands up. He stated that I'm reporting now that the Ripple XRP ruling via Judge Torres was a joke. Wow. Right? XRP asset itself is not a security. That is what matters most to XRP retail investors. Exactly. It's that simple. How come? I don't know, guys, why people can't understand a simple statement, right? A fact, law. Last but not least, from Brian Armstrong, the CEO at Coinbase, major moments for crypto regulatory clarity in the United States, right? So supposedly, this has been a multi-year process toward approval, and we are excited to finally be launching delve into crypto derivatives with margin to our United States customers. Isn't that crazy? Right before the collapse occurs, people are going to go broke. Who knows what's going to happen at the end of the day, guys? But at least supposedly, clarity is accelerating, right? Or regulations in the crypto sphere. Let us see what happens in the future. But damn, the proof is in the damn pudding. Not Benicio Weiss, not Benicio Weiss, and not Benicio Weiss, and never Benicio Weiss, never Benicio Weiss, and never Benicio Weiss. But anyways, that's what for you guys. See you.